young kid finds out his brother got shot and stays completely quiet. Not a post, not a story, not even a single tweet, nothing at all. Before people start jumping online saying he doesn't care, slow down for a second. That silence, it's louder than anything he could have said. Today we're breaking down exactly what went down in Houston on April 8th, why Ben 10 is lucky to even be breathing in that hospital bed right now, and what that silence really says about where YoungBoy's mind is at. This isn't gossip, it's street politics. And if that difference isn't clear yet, it will be by the end of this. First, let's clear something up, because a lot of people online have been way off about who NBA Ben 10 really is. People keep calling him just an associate, like he's some random extra in the background. That's not even close. Ben 10, real name Ben Anthony Fields, is family, tied in deep from the same Baton Rouge soil that shaped Kentrell Gaulden into who the world knows as NBA YoungBoy. These two didn't just grow up nearby. They came up in the same environment, faced the same pressure, and survived the same conditions. That kind of bond isn't casual. It's locked in for life. Ben 10 is part of the Never Broke Again circle, and that's not just some label name people throw around. That whole operation was built from nothing, from the ground up, when YoungBoy had the world doubting him. And let's be real, people outside looking in here never broke again and think it's just music business. It's way deeper than that. NBA is loyalty, code, structure. It's about putting your people first no matter what. YoungBoy didn't just sign talent. He brought in his day ones, family, close ties, the ones who stood there before any fame showed up. Ben 10 is one of those people, no question. And he didn't just sit around either. He built his own lane. He's been active creatively for years, working behind the scenes, shooting visuals, building his presence online with over 1 million followers, and running his own clothing brand, Slime Design. He's been in music videos too, including Hell and Back, standing right there with YoungBoy. That's not somebody tagging along. That's somebody building alongside. Big difference. But here's the reality nobody can ignore. Being close to someone like NBA, YoungBoy comes with attention, and not all of it is good. You don't even have to be front and center to have eyes on you. We're at the lifestyle, the image, the connections. It all puts a spotlight on you whether you want it or not. And on April 8th, that spotlight turned dangerous fast. This didn't happen in some quiet corner either. This went down at Confessions, a restaurant and nightclub in Houston's Upper Kirby area, an upscale spot, clean, popular, the kind of place people go to enjoy themselves and show out a little. Ben 10, 26 years old, was there that night, likely tied to spring break, energy, or some kind of celebration. Everything about that night was supposed to be good vibes only, but things flipped in seconds. Inside that club, a situation started building, and according to Houston Police Lieutenant R. Wilkins, this wasn't even supposed to be a shooting at first. It started as a robbery. Someone tried to snatch Ben 10's chains right there in a crowded club. Think about that for a second. 20 to 30 people around, and someone decides to make a move like that on someone connected to NBA?
What's the topic?
Well, you said stop it to shout him out.
Go ahead, I'm talking shit, man.
So yeah, he was supposed to have a show at Chicago United Center. YoungBoy was involved with the beef, whatever, with Dirk, which led to Von's passing. It's his first time in Chicago since. Of course, they've been all on the internet saying whatever. So the first thing happened, the Chicago Center puts out an update and says, listen, we're doing a 0-bag policy at this show. Normally at shows, they have a clear bag policy. The little book bags, the little handbag, as long as it's clear, they can see through it, you can bring that bag in. It was like, for this particular show, no bags allowed whatsoever. We're not playing. And then like a couple days went by and the Chicago Center just said, yo, we canceling the show. Okay. We're not even doing it.
That's bold or calculated. Moves like that don't just happen without reason. So now it's chaos. People grappling, struggling, dragging him to the ground. Multiple individuals involved. And from the reports, it looks like they actually got the chains. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't even close. Here's where everything spirals. The person being robbed, described by police as the suspect, wasn't Ben 10. It was someone else caught in that moment. That individual, while being overpowered, had a firearm on him the whole time. And the second those chains were taken, everything changed. He pulled that weapon and started firing inside a packed venue. Lieutenant Wilkins said it plain. He pulled it out and started shooting randomly. No control, no aim, just shots going off in a crowded space. 2 people got hit, and one of them was Ben 10. Right there in Confessions nightclub, shots fired, people dropping, panic everywhere. Witnesses described complete chaos, people screaming, diving for cover, knocking over furniture trying to get out.
It's the shows. That's what me and you had this argument a long time ago. No, not me. Zaire was up here too. But yo, they love like the way
Zaire,
the generation after us looked at Wayne.
Zaire compared him to Tupac, and
Is how
I know that was
they
a big
look
mistake,
at they look
but
at
I
Young Boy
understand.
though.
I get
Like
it.
he's that.
A video spread online fast, showing people on the ground, fear everywhere, someone yelling that a person was dead. And just like that, social media did what it always does, ran wild before facts showed up. Rumors exploded instantly, posts claiming Ben 10 didn't make it, saying he was gone, pushing panic across platforms. Meanwhile, the real situation was still unfolding. 2 victims, multiple gunshot wounds, both in critical condition. That part was confirmed, but online, it was already turned into something else. Lieutenant Wilkins broke down the injuries, and it was serious. One victim hit multiple times in the torso, chest, and stomach area, life-threatening zones. The other hit in arms and legs multiple times as well. Both rushed to hospitals, both in critical shape. This wasn't minor, it was real. Then came the update that shifted everything. OG Monique, mother of NBA affiliate OG33, posted a simple message on Instagram. 10 is alert, stop the made-up stories. That was it. No long explanation, no press, just straight confirmation. And just like that, the narrative changed. Ben 10 was alive, conscious, still here. That message hit, and you could feel the shift online instantly. Support started pouring in, people sending prayers, showing love, because everyone understood what that could have turned into.
Call after his LA show. Nigga, this is how the conversation started, swear to God. Nigga, you gotta go to YoungBoy show. And I'm like, I planned on going, but then I saw the video of the crowd. And I said, that looks like literal.
But while all this noise was happening, one voice stayed completely silent. YoungBoy. No post, no reaction, no statement from him or his team. And that's where people started getting it wrong. That silence, it's not neglect, it's strategy. YoungBoy isn't new to pressure, legal situations, or having every move watched. He knows exactly how fast things can flip when words get involved. In situations like this, speaking publicly can create problems that don't go away. Anything said can be twisted, used, or turned into something bigger. And in both legal and street situations, reacting publicly can tie you directly to something you don't need to be tied to. That's why real ones move quiet in moments like this. People asking where he's at don't understand that level of pressure. They haven't lived under that kind of spotlight. His silence isn't cold, it's controlled, it's protection for himself and everyone around him. Now here's the part that really matters. Ben 10 survived. Reports say he's stable, conscious, expected to recover. That's the outcome everyone in that circle is holding on to, because the alternative, that would have changed everything. If this went the other way, the impact would have been massive. YoungBoy's history, his music, everything tied to loss and loyalty. It would have hit different, and everyone knew that, which is why the internet was watching so closely, waiting for updates. But he made it, and that's what matters most right now. At this moment, there are still big questions. The shooter hasn't been publicly identified yet, and the situation is still under investigation.
I'm like, nah. He was like, yo, I'll get y'all riser tickets. Riser, you're not in the crowd, you're not in the midst of none of that shit. I'll get y'all on the riser if you want to with it. I'm like, all right, bet. He was like, yo, this show, the energy, he was like, yo, he's putting on a real production. Because my mans was like, yo, I ain't gonna lie. When I went, the first thing I said was, oh, he gonna be up here stealing money. Basically, walking back and forth, no screens. He was like, no, it's a full-on, he's put on a show, like effects, all the shit you wanna see at a...
What really led up to that moment? Was it random, or was there more behind it? Those answers are still out there. Lieutenant Wilkins made it clear, investigators are not in the dark on this. There's surveillance footage, there are witnesses talking, and law enforcement is actively piecing everything together. But here's the part that hits different. No arrest has been made, no name has been released, and the person responsible for putting Ben 10 in that hospital bed is still out there. That alone keeps this situation wide open, and it means this story is far from finished. An active investigation like this brings tension from every angle. Authorities are watching closely, the streets are paying attention, and depending on how everything unfolds, legally and beyond, this situation could shift at any moment. Nothing about this is settled yet, and that uncertainty is what makes it even heavier. Now here's where things get complicated fast. The person who fired those shots was reportedly the one being robbed. Think about that. Outnumbered, on the ground, chains being taken, and in that moment, a weapon comes out. That kind of situation can easily be argued as self-defense, especially under Texas law, which already has layers when it comes to protecting yourself, but it's not that simple. Because once those shots started flying in a packed club, everything changed. You can't just fire randomly in a crowded space and expect it to be seen as clean self-defense, especially when people who weren't even involved end up getting hit. That's where the legal system starts asking serious questions. Prosecutors are now stuck sorting through a messy situation. Does this fall under self-defense, reckless discharge, or something more serious like aggravated assault? That decision isn't quick, and it won't be easy. With 20 to 30 people inside that venue, there are too many perspectives, too many stories, and too many details that don't line up perfectly. Every witness brings a different angle. Every video clip adds another layer, and all of that has to be broken down piece by piece. This isn't a simple case. It's one of those situations where every small detail matters, and one fact can shift everything. Now shifting focus to Ben 10 himself, because this part can't get lost in everything else. Yes, he's alert, and that's a huge sign of hope. But let's not act like that means everything is fine. Multiple gunshot wounds, critical condition when he arrived. That kind of trauma doesn't just disappear overnight. Recovery from something like that is long, painful, and unpredictable. It's not just about surviving. It's about healing physically and mentally. That process takes real time, and he's going to need serious support around him while he goes through it. And from what we've seen, that support is there. The hip-hop community showed up with love, prayers, and real concern. Social media was flooded with messages backing his recovery, and that kind of energy matters when someone is fighting their way back from something like this. But stepping back for a second, this situation is bigger than just one night, one club, or one incident. This is about the reality that comes with being connected to a name like NBA YoungBoy. That life isn't just music videos and highlights. It comes with real risks that don't disappear when the cameras turn off. Ben 10 wasn't somewhere reckless. He was in a well-known spot in a nice part of Houston, and still, things turned dangerous. That's the truth about this kind of visibility. The attention doesn't switch off, and the risk can show up anywhere. The chains, the image, the affiliation, it all sends a message, whether intended or not. And there are always people watching, always people waiting for an opportunity. That's the part of this lifestyle that doesn't get talked about enough. This isn't about blaming anyone either. Respect is due where it's earned. What YoungBoy built, what his circle represents, the loyalty behind it, that's real. But at the same time, it comes with a cost, and situations like this put that cost right in front of everyone. Ben 10, being alive is a blessing, no doubt, but it's also a reminder of how close things came to going the other way. And if it had, the conversation would have exploded in a completely different direction. We've seen it before, too many times. Names turning into memorials, moments turning into losses, and conversations that fade way too fast while the people closest to it are left carrying everything. This time is different though, because this time we're not talking about someone gone. We're talking about someone who made it through, and almost should hit just as hard as loss, because it shows how real the danger actually is. Now look at the bigger picture. NBA YoungBoy's name is all over this story, even without him saying a word. Every headline connects back to him, every detail circles his influence, and that shows the level he's operating on right now. He's not just an artist, he's a whole movement. The fan base, the numbers, the consistency, it's on another level. But with that kind of presence comes pressure, and moments like this shine a light on it. The people around him aren't just regular figures. They're tied to a name that carries weight everywhere, and that attention can turn into risk simply because of association. That's something every person in that circle has to live with. Right now, Ben 10 is feeling that reality from a hospital bed, and while he's fighting to recover, everyone else is watching how this situation unfolds. Law enforcement, fans, the culture, eyes are locked in on what happens next. How the NBA circle moves from here, both publicly and behind the scenes, is going to matter. It's going to shape how this story continues and what comes after it. So bringing it all together, Ben 10 is alive, he's alert, and he's still here. And that alone makes April 8th a completely different story than it could have been, because it could have gone another way. And everybody knows that. YoungBoy stayed silent, and for those who understand his world, that silence says everything. He's not disconnected, far from it. If anything, he's one of the most emotionally open artists out there when it comes to his music. But this isn't the moment for words. This is the moment for control, for awareness, for knowing how quickly things can spiral when too much is said. That silence, that's protection, that's experience. That's someone who understands exactly how words can be used and chooses not to give anything away when it matters most. And right now, with the investigation still ongoing, every move still matters. And with everything still unfolding, the next phase of this situation is going to be critical. Investigators are digging deeper into timelines, piecing together movements, and trying to lock in exactly who did what inside that club. Every second of footage, every witness statement, it all matters now more than ever. There's also pressure building behind the scenes. When something like this happens in a public setting, especially in a packed venue, authorities don't just let it slide. They're going to push for answers, and they're going to push hard. The longer that shooter goes unidentified, the more intense the focus becomes, not just from law enforcement, but from the public too. At the same time, the streets are talking. And when the streets start talking, information moves fast, sometimes faster than the investigation itself. But not all of it is accurate, and that's where things can get dangerous. Rumors, assumptions, and speculation can twist the narrative quickly, and in situations like this, that kind of noise only adds more tension. Meanwhile, Ben 10 is still in recovery mode, and that journey is far from over. Being alert is one thing, but getting back to full strength is a whole different battle. There's physical healing, mental recovery, and adjusting after a moment that could have changed everything. That kind of experience sticks with you no matter how strong you are. And you already know his circle is locked in around him. This isn't the kind of situation where people step back. This is where they step closer. Support, protection, loyalty, that all get stronger in moments like this. But don't overlook this part. The aftermath isn't always loud. Sometimes the biggest moves happen quietly, away from cameras, away from social media. Decisions get made, positions shift, and energy changes without a single post going up. That's why YoungBoy's silence still matters right now more than ever. Because while the public sees nothing, that doesn't mean nothing is happening. It just means whatever is happening isn't for everyone to see. And as this case continues to develop, one thing is clear. This story isn't finished. More details are coming, more truths are going to surface. And when they do, they could change how everything is being viewed right now. So for now, all eyes stay on Houston. All eyes stay on the investigation. And most importantly, all eyes stay on Ben 10's recovery, because at the center of all this noise, that's what really matters. The suspect, still unidentified, the legal side, still up in the air, and Ben 10's recovery, it's only just getting started. This situation is far from over, not even close. But right now, in this exact moment, the only thing that truly matters is this. One of NBA YoungBoy's own is still here, still breathing, still alert. And in this life, in this culture, that's not something small. That's everything. Keep Ben 10 in your prayers for real, because the road ahead isn't easy, and support matters more than ever right now. And make sure you stay locked in right here, because as this story keeps unfolding, we're going to be breaking it all down. No sugarcoating, no guessing, just straight facts. Drop your thoughts in the comments too. What do you think about YoungBoy staying silent? Was it the right move, or should he have spoken out? And what do you think happens next? In this situation, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with anyone trying to stay informed, because it helps keep real conversations like this going strong. Until next time, stay safe, stay solid, and always recognize what's real.